You know I'm going to mess with you on your beard, though, right?
Oh man, I just hit record too, and we're back.
Perfect. It's all that matters.
Welcome to the Kayfabe Corner. I'm your host, Jordan Pierce Owens, where I sit down with one of my favorite people here in the Florida wrestling scene. I don't know what's wrong with my beard, but let's welcome to the show, Torture, everybody.
Hey guys, what's happening? I'm glad I can be with you there, Jo. I'm glad you can have me on. I'm glad that everyone, we're keeping up the responsible social distancing. We have a couple 100 miles between us. It's a little bit more than 6 foot, but it works.
How are you doing? That is a topical conversation, obviously, right now. I originally started doing these at shows. I only got 2 in, and then this happened, so now I got to do them like this, which is fine because now we can sit down and be comfortable while we do it. So how are you doing in this time?
Well, honestly, I mean, I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier before we went, I guess, live. March 16th, I broke my ankle. I had an unfortunate trip. We'll leave it at that. It was not wrestling related, but I did break my tibia in 3 spots and ruptured my ligament that holds my femur on my foot. I had surgery on the 17th of March. I have 9 screws currently right now in my right ankle. Holding my tibia back together. It's going well. I'm probably about 5 weeks post surgery. Everything's healing up great. Everything's healing good. There we go. There's the X-ray right there showing the 9 screws that's in there. Wednesday I have an appointment. There's the rupture. You can see the space on the lower right-hand side. That's a no bearded guy. That's phenomenal. He's throwing it back way back before I even started wrestling. But yeah, that's me. That was 19 years ago almost. I think that photo was taken as a security guy for IPW, which was a long time ago. That's the time when Roderick Strong, who is now NXT, was a current performer for IPW, and I've been a huge fan with him and even Cedric before they kind of separated themselves. They were known as the Strong Brothers. But it's healing. I hate to say it, the COVID-19, as tragic as it is, and the coronavirus stuff and going around is horrible. It weighs on a lot of younger people that can't see their friends, can't get out of the house, people that are used to having that connection.
But you got a young one. How's she doing?
Say what?
You got a young one at home. I know she's there. I saw her earlier. How's she doing with it?
Oh, she has her moments. I mean, like I said, not being able to get out and see her friends. She hasn't seen her very good best friend for about 2 months now, solid, and those two are typically once a week they're seeing each other doing something. But I mean, for this ankle break to happen right now is a positive on my side because I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything, I can't so I don't have that urge to stay at home.
You'd be in the same boat to an extent anyway.
Yeah. So, I'm staying at home and being as responsible as I possibly can be. I'm using Uber Eats, which I really don't like to do, but you know what? It's quick and easy, and it's just I can't really get up and run around,
Well, now I finally feel safe enough to say, let's fight, Torture. Me and you, one-on-one. I might have a chance now.
If it's a word battle, you got me, buddy. If it's a physical battle, I think I might got
you. Yeah, you still got me, damn it. All right, I'll try. I'll wait next time. Well, let's go back. You talked a little bit about you doing like some ring crew. Where does your journey in professional wrestling begin? Let's go even to the beginning. Are you a fan growing up? Is it something coming to later? Or where does your journey start, or even your love start?
Oh my gosh. I think I was like 11 or 12 years old. This is 91, 92. When I think WCW just bought out NWA. Jim Crockett Promotions, I think, was just bought out about
90, 91, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere right in there. And they had come to the Bayfront Center, which was right down here in St. Pete, which is no longer there. And a friend of mine had gotten tickets, and I saw Dusty Rose and Dustin Rose, which he was still wrestling as the natural Dustin Rose. And I was always a big, huge fan of the Rock and Roll Express. I thought, back then the Rock and Roll Express was one of the best tag teams. It was a younger, up-and-coming thing, and it just made a really good connection with me. So that really started my journey into pro wrestling. And I was about, and this is 6 years later, huge fan. NWO, watched the rise and fall of them, everything and all that stuff. And my neighbor was actually he come out, and he was an older fella, 35, 40, guy by the name of Dave. We'll say his wrestling name a little bit later. He comes out and he's kind of hobbling to his car, and I'm going, hey Dave, what's going on? What's happening? He goes, oh yeah. He goes, I just bought a wrestling school out. I go, you just bought a what? He goes, I just bought a wrestling school. And I said, well, can I? What? There's a school for this? He goes, oh yeah, it's right over here on 66th Street. Him and a guy named Ron Nimi had gone in a partnership and bought Luke and the Bushwhackers school. Sorry, my camera's tending to take a dive here. So he bought that school and said, hey, if you're interested, come out and let me know. And I said, well, I'm definitely 100% interested, So I went down and kind of did a at that time was like an internship, like a friend of the owner type situation. Did anything that typically would happen now. Set up chairs, set up the ring, tore the ring down, did security, help valet, help keep the ladies safe from the very hands-on adult crowd of IPW at the time. So I mean that started my whole journey, watching those guys knock.
What was that crowd like, by the way? I heard that was it a crazy crowd?
IPW was like your hardcore. It was like an ECW crowd, except for independent guys. It was very, very. I mean, everybody knew the people. Everybody knew to the point where people were showing up at wrestlers' houses. Hey man, you need to really watch that girl over there. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, she showed up at my house yesterday. I go, what?
I'm talking to Ron tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no, Ron's a very extremely smart business person when it comes to the business. Extremely smart when it comes to wrestling in general. He was a very hardcore leader in every capacity of the word. So I really had no real major qualms with him whatsoever. Hang on, Jay. I'm gonna have to switch my camera if it's starting to fall. So hang on. As you're in my hand, move it around, see what I can do.
It doesn't want to put you over, man. It's giving you a hard time.
Oh, seriously.
Story of your life.
There we go. We're still good. I just want to try and get it to where I'm not hanging on to it, So that kind of started my wrestling career, and we're talking, oh Jesus, early 2000, I think, is when I had my first match. We had all the students and the young talent, like less than 2 years that had been in IPW. We're talking about Morrison Hendricks, Mark Zout, Vinny, Morrison's brother, Pretty Fly. All those guys had gone through IPW. All those guys had been, I don't want to say the workhorses, but I mean they did above and beyond what they needed to do at the time. And when IPW kind of closed up, Pretty Fly said, "Hey, we can." Pretty Fly, aka Alex Decay. Oh yeah, that's Jesus Criminy Christ. It's an 18-year-old photo. 19. I think I had the double mohawk on that one. That's when I had lost a lot of weight.
I gave him a crop better.
It's okay. People see there's no beard, and then the next one you have with a beard, and then we'll be good. So I mean, it was a very, very fun deal because Fly, aka Alex Decay. Oh yeah, that breathing the fire thing. I got a little interesting story about that when I got one of my
let's hear that.
I
said, let's hear about the fire origin.
when I started breathing fire, I did it as like a party gimmick. I was like, hey, I take this 151, roll up a paper towel, you'll be good to go. It's my tag team partner Aaron Andrews. Like 2 times we worked for ECW, and I had done it as like a party gimmick. And when I had started with IPW, and like I said, IPW shortly closed thereafter. I actually, and a lot of people are like floored when they hear this. I worked for FIP, Full Impact Pro, at the inception when Jason Moore was in there in the booking side of it a lot more with Sal. I had started out, and I tagged with as a tag team known as the Horde. It was me and LeDuc Jakes. and I think he was known as something different back then. But they were like, we'll call you, we need something dark and demonic and something. And I was like, I'm thinking in my head, Billy Brawler, Gentle Giant or something along those lines, where it's just like, I mean, you think of the typical, hey, what do you want to be? Like, hey, I want to be a guy that just, yay, and generic guy number 4 on the side. And they were like, no, we're going to put you in this big dark. And we had a match. It was Vicious and Delicious, which was Axis and Python, which I don't know if you know who Axis and Python is.
Well, I've seen the results on your cage match, so I've seen the match listing. I haven't seen the match though. No.
Yeah, Axis and Python were known as Vicious and Delicious, and they were having a match, and we were supposed to come down this aisleway. And I took my little stuff, my 151 at the time, because I had not switched over yet. So I take a shot of 151, I'm holding it in my mouth. 151 is so pure alcohol that it can literally burn the inside of your mouth. So halfway to the ring, I'm on fire. Like, my mouth is literally just burning from this pure alcohol. So I swallow the alcohol. So I take the shot. Now, mind you, I'm supposed to blow the fireball at Axis when we get to the ring. I haven't even made it halfway to the ring. I now swallow my stuff. I have no other fire stuff. I have no other way of doing anything. And I took an ass whooping. It was supposed to be us kind of, but I mean, I got my butt kicked by Axis because he was one of those type people who's like more of a perfectionist. If it looked bad, he looked bad, and no matter what, it gets in the back, and I got a boot print on my face, I got chop marks on my chest, I get in the back, and I'm like, bro, I'm trying to talk, I got blisters on the inside of my tongue, my cheeks, my lip, and he goes, oh, okay, sorry about that, and I'm like, okay, that's it. So I'm just like, welcome to the business, kid, have a nice day. So I mean, after that, I had to get something different, and I talked to I think they were the Tokyo Dragons, a tag team that was, I can't even remember the names, and that sounds terrible. I remember the tag team. I remember the one guy because he was a promoter up north. I don't call him by his gimmick name, so I'm not going to say what his name is right now. But he told me, he goes, we use tiki torch fluid. And I go, isn't that stuff gross? He goes, it's absolutely disgusting. But those guys did a little bit different. They actually walked to the ring, did like a conjuring of, Japanese stuff, took the shot, blew the fireball immediately. I was like, well, okay, I can, so I tried it at home. I put it in my mouth and I held on to it. And it's more of an oil base, not really like a liquid base. So it didn't really hurt me. It didn't really bother me at all. So I started using that. And that I found was a lot more safer than the 151. When you use the 151, if you hold your arm out and I blow 151, it's going to stick to your arm and still be on fire. With the tiki torch fluid, it doesn't. As it becomes a flame, there's water residue afterwards, so you won't get anything stuck to you that will continue to burn. So I thought it was a safer product to use, and I've been using it for 18 plus years now. So that's how that transpired.
And does it taste any better now? Have you just become numb to it, or?
To be honest with you, they've added some bite fighter stuff or something to it, and it actually is completely horrible. It's completely horrible now. It tastes completely different. I know it's a horrible thing to say out loud, but I'm looking for the old school stuff because it's so just, oh my God, so harsh and aftertaste. You're having to look for something to swallow your mouth. And you can't really rinse it out with water. You can't really mix it out with soda. Usually what I end up doing is when I get home after most shows, I'm drinking milk just to be on the safe side because it kind of dissipates and keeps all the oils together. And if I do swallow any, but yeah, it's changed over the years. I wish they'd go back to the old, I don't seem like a Coke guy, but go back to the old recipe that actually had cocaine, but yeah, it's different.
What was did you say though, or what was the thought of doing it though? Like, was it your idea? Like, where did that idea even come from?
That truthfully, honestly, that came from Sal more so. Sal and Ralph Moscow were kind of working together a little bit back then, and it was always something that I had thought about doing and never really, how am I going to do this on a constant basis? How am I going to do this to where I can do it safely? How can I do it to where I can get to the ring and still have it, capable of being doing it? So I ended up getting a plumber's torch, that actually has a button where you can ignite and de-ignite it and lock it out. So when I'm not using it, I can turn the button where it doesn't ignite itself at all. So it's not my gear bag. It's not going to be a fire hazard or anything like that. But Sal had said something along, like, he goes, well, you're torture, you're going to be the big, huge, the main two parts of the horde, we want Leduc Jakes and torture, it's just going to be that, I'm like, okay, great, phenomenal. Sal went away and I looked at Jakes and I was like, bro, how in the, what are we going to do here? I'm not, I didn't have any mask stuff, Leduc Jakes had skulls and a cloak and a this, and I'm just looking going, I feel like a minnow in a shark pond, and they're like, go beat those sharks up, and I'm going, yeah. So it was a very interesting process going through the evolution of how I became me and how I became more established as the monster type persona, because when I first started wrestling, I was 300 pounds. At my heaviest wrestling, I was 430. Lost weight, was down to 280. Had people asking me if I was sick. Found that I was an undiagnosed diabetic. Got diagnosed, started taking insulin, got up to a healthy level. And, so, I've been up and down and up and down. So, at first I was the 400-pound monster. I'm like, great, 400 pounds, moving around, looking like Bam Bam. I was not arguing in any aspect of the word. Then I lost weight. And I'm like, all right, I can't be the 400-pound monster when I'm only 310 pounds. I said, I'm not even looking like I'm right, So I was like, all right, I breathe fire. I was like, I'm never going to stop breathing fire. So let's just become the fire breathing monster. So fire breathing monster torture was there, and boom, there it went. Are we getting ready to share? What's this one in my?
I just want to show some fire. To show a bit of an example of you breathing some fire.
That singlet I have worn maybe 8 times in my entire career. That singlet I was supposed to tag with, I can't even remember his name now. Can't even remember his name now. It was in NEW. Oh, I'm trying to think of EJ's. It was EJ's promotion out there in Plant City, and I was supposed to tag with and they said green and yellow, and I made that singlet for that tag team, and I never tagged him. Never tagged with them. And I was like, all right, now I got a green and yellow singlet that's nowhere near. But yeah.
You got 8 uses out of it.
Yeah, hey, I got enough. It's all that matters, is the fill-in.
Where did the name Torture even come from? The name itself. Did you also throw on any other ideas with what else you could be?
Oh man, dude! Like I said, when I first got into it, dude, I'm thinking, all right, it's gonna be Steve. How can we do something different from Steve? And I'm literally, at the time I think it was NWO, WCW. I'm looking at WrestleMania 2000 video games. Like what can we do here? So I'd make a video character and Billy Brawler, and I'm like, I'm gonna sing a tape up to my mid arm, and I'll just come out and throw punches like an old school boxer. And then I watch some old videos, and I'm watching Kama, old Papa Shango, and I'm going, oh man, I was like, he's kind of done something like that. All right, let's go back to the drawing board. So I'm trying to think of something that can go around, because one of my biggest things growing up was, one man gang, Bam Bam Bigelow, Akeem, aka one man gang before he became WWE, Earthquake, Typhoon. The big guys that were back then were like, I was like, these guys is something I can do. Dusty Rhodes, I wish 10 years earlier that I would have been able to meet him and work with him. It was one of those things. It's like, all right, what big guy name that can be used that isn't going to be, General Splash, Bastion Booger, something like this. And I'm like going, I got nothing. I'm like, huh. And I'm like, and I'm thinking fire, torches, Flaming Fred, I mean, just off the wall stuff that I'm like, I'm killing myself. And I had a list of stuff together. And I can't even remember names that just all these different names that I wrote down. And I went and talked to Sal, Jason Moore, and I think Ralph was there. And he had said something, about, well, can you blow the fireball in the wrestling? Yeah, I could definitely do that. He goes, well, let's see it. So I blew one. He's like, oh my God, that's amazing. He goes, how about we just call you like the Human Torch, And I'm like, well, wait a minute, we might get sued by, the Fantastic Four. I think had the Human Torch. That's kind of a horrible thing. He goes, why would just torture, but spell it Torcher. And I'm like, I was like, hey, that's not too bad. So I had decided, I was like, all right, that sounds great. I'll go with that. So I mean, if I had to give anyone the credit towards it, I mean, I hate to say it'd be Sal, with FIP, but I mean, he really kind of threw the name out there, and it stuck, and it worked, and I created, a lot of everything that I did around that. So I mean, I appreciate him, and I appreciate that, getting the name and getting it out there. I don't appreciate it.
Even as a fan, I remember seeing the name and it sticking out. Just reading results and whatnot. Growing up like at the Florida wrestling scene, and it always stood out to me.
I'm grateful, very grateful at that. I just hate it when people spell it wrong. They put it like the Torture Act, Toucher, and I'm like,
oh, have you seen that really?
Oh Jesus! I've seen a run sheet, and I'm like, that's not me. I'm not. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I don't know. So I'm going and asking the promoter. I'm like, hey, when am I on there? He goes, you're on the sheet. I go, no, I'm not. I'm not. I don't see it. He goes, you're right here. You're number 3. He's pointing at the wall. I go, no, that's Toucher. Who's Toucher? I'm not Toucher. I'm Torture. I go, so that he goes, oh Jesus Christ. He scratches it out and puts. I was like, oh, thank you. Hey, I made the show. And the guy's like, oh my God.
I guess Toucher couldn't show, so they put you on instead.
Toucher could definitely show. He was locked up for like 10 minutes.
Time's up for a Toucher. What were some of the favorite matches you've had, man? Who have you really clicked with in the ring?
Zout. I mean, Mark Zout was one of those easy flowing type guys that we had wrestled so much in. I mean, I'm talking when I got into it, he had maybe 2 years on me. Yeah, probably about 2 years on me, and then FPWA started, and he went up the ranks with FPWA and become their champion for, God, he was the main guy for, I'd say 3-4 years that he was the main roster guy, and I had always kind of worked with him as far as feuded with him. So I mean, it was, oh yeah, I think this is the one where I ended up winning the title. I can't tell if he's Gangrel. I think he was Gangrel. I think I might have won the title.
It looks like he's Gangrel.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I actually won the title, my first FPWA title. And you can see, I mean, I was a big guy even then. And, we had always worked back and forth really good. Slap that figure 4 on me, dude. Oh, he didn't. That's right.
Oh, sneaky roll up.
That's the Indiana roll. There we go. Foot on the ropes.
And you guys tag teamed as well, right? For a while.
Oh yeah, we literally hit a point where we looked at each other, and this is no joke. We at a show. I think it was an FSPW, Future Stars of Pro Wrestling or something like that. It was Joe Pepitone's down south, and we're like, all right, when are you at? We're semi-main. Okay, cool. We're like, all right. So we're talking about the match, and we both kind of look at each other and go, bro, do we want to keep wrestling each other? It's like I only wrestle you and you only wrestle me. I said, how many tag teams have you seen? And he's like, oh, I haven't seen many. He goes, well, why don't we tag? He's like, what? He goes, why don't we tag? He goes, oh, dude, that can work. And we had, because at the time of FSPW, when FSPW was still going on, Ruskin was still happening down in Ruskin. You know, PPW, Proctor's Professional Wrestling, which was Chris the Doc Proctor's organization.
Unique name.
Huh? Oh, his brother owned the venue, which was basically a mechanic shop. He let us put the ring in front of his mechanic shop. We got dressed in the shop and had entryways out it. So I mean, it was but that was a 100% student-based organization. Anyone that wanted to wrestle, you know, would, ooh, yeah, there we go. Upward Pro Wrestling, baby. Look at you sliding to one side. You know, right here over my left shoulder, you can see torture coming out, said the buffet's open, and the state of Florida goes crazy. So it was one of those situations where, like, well, let's try it down there in PPW. Let's see how it goes. So me, Zout, I think it was me, Zout, Morrison, and we had someone else was tagging with us, and we started a tag team organization known as the Professionals, and we called ourselves the Professionals because at the particular time we were looking at, you know, 4 or 5 years. They had 4 or 5 years. I had 3+ years, and we're still going down there to help out the students, help out the younger kids, help out kids that, you know, wouldn't even gotten a shot. You know, like Dirk Manning. Yeah, I know you've heard of Dirk Manning. He got a shot down there. Chris's son Nick was down. I'm trying to think of all the guys that's gone through there. Anthony Devlin went down through there. You know, there's a lot of guys that were down there that were just there for the fun of wrestling. You know, and we started it and we did it, and it did great, and it caught on. And we're like, all right, let's go with it. And Zout started kind of getting into the cosplay-ish a little bit more. So he was working, you know, a little bit farther south in singles and stuff like that. And he brought the you know, the long Batman style gloves that went up to the elbow. And we're out there wrestling in those. And we said, well, let's do like a Road Warriors thing. You know, me and you kind of being professionals, being bigger guys. Let's do some Road Warrior stuff. So we had painted our face Road Warrior-esque, you know, and we called ourselves the Professionals, and it went over great. It went over phenomenal. It was great for the kids, you know. That's the biggest one I think that got it when we started seeing kids coming to the show with their face painted like us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I know why these guys really did it, you know, because it's as much as I love the wrestling business, I love making that connection with people, you know, whether it be good, whether it be bad, whether it be, you know, horrible. You know, if you're up there in the ring and your tight split and your butt's all hanging out, you know, work with it. It sounds terrible, but I mean, work with it. You know, whatever you got to do to make it happen, you know, make it happen. But it's fun. It's always been fun. It'll still always be fun, even though I'm taking a little bit of a different step. You know, it's still going to be fun. It's still going to be just the right choice, in my opinion. You know, they can't really argue with it at all.
I think I found this visual reference here.
Oh yeah, that was literally me and Zout had, like, all those titles we actually held and defended.
I was about to say, look at you, Ultimo Dragons over here with all the belts.
Yeah. we had done that because we had so many belts that we were like, you know, I think I was an XWE, which is Extreme Wrestling Entertainment, or XWF. Lou Cypher had done an organization for 3 or 4 shows up in Newport Richey. I was his champion. I was the PPW champion. We were tag champions. And I think I have
FPWA tag.
Huh?
I said FPWA tag.
Yeah, well, that was those belts also doubled. Well, yeah, because I think at this time when CWF was running, FPWA was done, and they still had the FPWA tag team belts, but they were using them as Christian Wrestling Federation belts, CWF, which was, I guess, the original style. Because I've heard rumors kept ahead, you know, and apparently they're talking about bringing back the CWF, Christian Wrestling Federation, taking it only to churches, allowing, you know, stuff like that, which is great. You know, and if that's what they want to do, I think it's going to be phenomenal. You know, anyone that can do the CWF and make it, you know, but the biggest one's going to be is keeping the wrestlers under control. That's the problem that we had before, is that when wrestlers get in a room with a bunch of wrestlers, it's a different type family situation than regular family. So a lot of F-bombs, a lot of S's, and a lot of, this BO right over here is doing this and that. You've been around Preston. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean that. So, I mean, it's interesting as long as they can keep that, in the back, understanding that, you're in a house of worship. You guys got to really calm it down. It's great. It's a great show. You don't have to go extremely insanely crazy. Most of those people are there for what the church is offering with wrestling as a side thing. It's almost like you're not the main event of a steak, but you're a delicious side of broccoli and cheese. So I mean, it can be fun. It can be fun, and that's all that matters. Everyone has kind of lost that track into the wrestling businesses. A lot of people get in. Oh, we gotta work out. We gotta pump iron. We gotta. Oh my gosh, we gotta look so big. Guys, go out and have fun. Enjoy yourself. Make fans. Meet the fans. Meet the families. Meet the people. Shake their hands. Sign autographs. A lot of people don't want to do that anymore. Another one. I hate to say it. I know you had the Kayfabe. Was it the Kayfabe report? Was that what we're calling this?
Kayfabe Corner.
Kayfabe Corner. My bad.
Thank you for knowing what show you're on.
Hey, you know what? Any show with you, Jo, I'm in. You can call it, Big Guys Eaters Anonymous, I'm in. You can call it Slim Fast Losers, I'm in. You could call it what? Wait a minute. I think I'm making fun of me. Never mind. Hang on. Let's rethink this.
Yeah, not me, because I'm in perfect shape. So just you.
Hey, round is a shape, bro. Okay.
It is a shape. Thank you.
So I mean, it is. As long as you can keep that if you kayfabe it as much and as best as you possibly can, I think is a good one. Like we had, and I won't name an organization and I won't name the wrestler, but there was one of the current organizations that I'm working for that I've already moved myself into a behind the scene type person. He was drug out in a body bag. He was literally in a body bag match. Loser had the kind of deal. Was drug out in a body bag. He should have been done. You get drug out of a show in a body bag, you don't show back up later on out there high-fiving people. And
sure, I agree.
Oh, he was back out there 2 matches later, running to the thing. Don't get me a hot dog. I'm kind of hungry. Bro. Are you But I mean, took everything I could not to literally rip his face off. He caught a lot of flack from a lot of people. I mean, I'm like, bro, you were drug out in a body bag.
But when you need a hot dog.
Oh, yeah. I need to talk to my daughter. I was like, your daughter knows where you are. You get her to the back.
Yeah, have someone grab her. Yeah.
I took my kids to wrestling shows. She was able to talk to me no matter what. She'd let me know, hey, can I talk to Torture? Okay, no problem, honey. What do you need to? Okay, let me get you some money. Here, hang on, boom, there you go. And she'd go get her snacks, and she'd go, but this guy just didn't. He's I don't know.
What's your opinion, too? Another pet peeve of mine, personally, is just in general, people going out and just chilling in the crowd after their match. What do you think of that?
Well, see, a lot of places I've been to doesn't have the access to watch the show in the back, okay? And when you're a fan of wrestling, which all of us should be fans of wrestling because we chose to go into that profession. If you do choose to go out there, don't sit in the front row. Don't sit in the second row. Don't sit in the third. Get a chair, come all the way to the back, as close as you can to obscurity, in the far corner of the building, away from everybody, and sit down and watch the show quiet. Don't be, I mean, I hate to say it. I've gone down there with, oh God, this is another reason why I'm getting out, because I can't remember all the organizations anymore. Who ran down there at the community center in Fort Myers?
Wait.
Monsters?
NEW, then RPW.
Yeah, RPW. RPW?
Yeah. It was the more recent one, yeah. The one that still runs, that I helped run, yeah, today, yeah.
I know, like, I could tell you that I was down there at some of those shows as a non-worker. I was there for the show. I was there in the second row, and my loud self, just being my loud self, helped the crowd get into what they were getting into. You know, there was when I was down there and I worked 3 shows, I think, with you guys, 4 shows, few shows. After my show, after I was done and over with, I wanted everything I could to go out there and sit in the crowd, just because sometimes the crowd seemed very dead on something that they shouldn't have been dead on, and you can look at the wrestlers and go, well, the crowd was dead. What the heck did you guys do wrong? I can't believe this is it. And it's like, well, wait a minute, guys, time out. So those guys were working their butts off, trying to get the crowd involved, but the crowd just wasn't there. Those type crowds, and I hate to say it, are there for specific people. If you have, a dead crowd, you have, let's say you put Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero in the ring, and you have a dead crowd. Well, those people didn't come to see Mysterio and Guerrero, no matter how great and fantastic they are. Those guys came to see, Vader and Sting. So when Vader and Sting get in and they throw their hand in the air and the whole crowd goes crazy, you're like, oh, what those guys do any different? These guys did nothing compared to these other two. It's stuff like that you want to help out by screaming something in the crowd, but you can't. So you're in the back corner going, oh my God, I want to do something. I can't. Oh, I can't. Okay, no. Oh my gosh.
No, I definitely agree with you on all that. Yeah, that was almost different then. I just mean like people that simply go and, like you said, go in the second or third row because they want to be next to their girlfriend or whatever. That's the pet peeve I have. But no, like you said, help the crowd is totally different, and
yeah.
Sometimes that unfortunately happens with local crowds too. They're here for one particular local person,
Yeah. And when they are, if you get out there and you feel that the crowd is not going to be behind you, I mean, just do what you need to do, and it's going to sound horrible. I mean, put on the show, do a great show, do on a great performance, but be smart about it. Don't go out there and we're going to do 900 flips and 45 reversals and 14 different arm bars and 19 different finishers. And bro,
I did just see Aaron Andrews, and I was watching you versus Aaron Andrews. He pulled out a 450 on you.
Oh, the 427 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 427 and a half, where he stomped his foot across my face and he ripped my labret out. Oh my gosh,
look at these two sexy guys.
I know. I mean, seriously. I mean, one's like big and huge and looking sexy as heck, and one's like a piece of chocolate. And I am the chocolate, bro.
For whatever helps you sleep at night.
That's when I was in some better shape than when I am now. That's when I had hair in the front too. Yeah, and I no longer have the mohawk. It's just.
I'd say, where's the mohawk, buddy? Come on.
Yeah, it's Jesus. I got nothing left for crying out loud. It's like all going away.
It's iconic.
I love that belt. I feel so bad because that belt got so abused.
Who has that belt, Gator?
That belt is Gator belongs. That's Gator's belt. Gator has that belt, and I think that belt has 100% now been retired. But if you looked at that belt has been broken.
Right, you can see it, yeah.
Back together and this and that, and it's terrible, I mean, heck, speaking of belts, dude, I was going through my my belt collection that I have here. Good God, man, I've got probably 14 belts. I got 2 sets of customized tag belts. I've got 1, 2, 3 singles customized belts. I got an old NWA Florida belt because IPW and NWA Florida actually teamed up at one point. I've got an NWA Florida Junior Heavyweight Championship belt that's actually a blue leather strap that knocked Justice, Cynic held, Mikey Tenderfoot held it back in IPW. So I mean, I'm going through going, man, I got all these awesome, beautiful belts, and I'm like, I got no place to store them, no place to hold them. I'm gonna probably hit my doorbell here maybe in a minute. I think I got a UPS guy delivered something. So,
you do a pause?
Nah, I mean, you hear a little da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum. Hopefully he'll knock on the door.
Actually, I might need to charge this computer real quick.
Oh, you big weenie.
No, hold on. 1 second. And we're back from intermission. So you're talking about Mark Zout. Who else have you had some really good stuff with? Some good
Oh,
memories and moments.
see, we can go Mark Zout. Um, see, here's the thing: is all the guys that have great stuff in it, I call them by their actual names.
I'm the
WXW.
opposite. Like if someone said, "Hey, how's Steve?" I'd be like, "Who's Steve?" Like I'm the opposite.
It later on, at the first year 1 through 7, I don't think I knew anybody by anything but their gimmick names. DJ Arnold, which he wrestled in IPW's DJ Arnold, Death Row Jethro. I've had some great matches with Death Row Jethro. I've had some great matches with Jeff. I don't even know
Who's
he does.
Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff Weaver.
Oh, Jaeger, maybe.
No, that's not his work name. The dude that just fell off a roof and broke his neck.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
I've had some great experiences with a ton of fellas. But like I said, it is. I know them all by their personal names now. Because I had to. Like you're Jordan. You go by Jordan. You're Jo Jordan Owen. But I mean, like when you meet someone, like I met Zout, 18 years ago. For the first 7 years, I didn't know his name wasn't Matt or Mark. I didn't know his name wasn't Mark. And I'm like, oh yeah, Mark. Go talk to Mark. Well, Jason. See, this.
More?
Yeah, Jason Moore. His real name is Mark.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go talk to Mark, and people go talking to him. Like, why do you keep talking to him? Go talk to Mark. I'm pointing at Matt. And I was like, his name's not Mark. His name's Matt. I go, what? What are you talking about? So I go over and I go, Zout. I go, what's your real name? He goes, Matt. I go, what? No, Mark, you're Mark. What the? So then I hit a point. I'm like, well, that's their work name. I don't want to know them as a worker. I want to know them personally. So then I started remembering everyone's actual name. So now Matt's Matt. I still call him Zout because he's my tag team partner for 6 years. I can't really exactly not call him Zout.
And you're still friends to this day, right? You and him?
Yeah, oh yeah. He actually lives maybe 20 blocks from me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's 3-minute drive. I think I'll be in his house, no problem. Yeah, I'm still great friends with Zout. Morrison, I see him every so often. He just had I want to say just had. I mean, he's 1.5, I think now, small son. He's actually creating good. Vinny's doing okay. He's having a little bit of health issues and stuff like that, but he's working through them pretty good. He's doing phenomenal. I really can't argue at all. And I won't talk about that because it's not happening to me for me to talk about. But I'm still good friends with a lot of the guys that have been for me. These guys are 20 years now. But we're all kind of hitting that point where it's like it's we're all ready to kind of relax. It's hey, it's Saturday. What do we got going on? Nothing. It's dad time. It's relaxing time. It's just go if you want to go see the show to become a fan thing, which is great for me. You really find a newfound love for something that you've been doing for 18 plus years when you go to a show as a fan. Sometimes in your head you're cutting down, going, "Oh my God, I can't believe oh, geez, this guy just what are we not? We're not in Mexico, dude. What's going on?" So I mean, but other than that, it's great. What was that, Jordan? How many people have I actually injured in the ring? Well, that's a great question. Let's go.
Let's talk about it now. Who have you?
Well, I was thinking about all the talking about all the older stuff, and I literally got a rep, Jesus, 8 years ago about supposedly working too rough in the ring. They're like, you just work so rough, and I'm like, I don't understand it. I'm stiff, but I'm not dangerously stiff. So then I'm thinking, and I'm like, all right, I gave one guy a concussion from a spine buster. I broke a guy's sternum. I broke a clavicle, 2 concussions. I've knocked a tooth out. Then the rings that I've literally physically broke to where they were unusable. Just from being such a bigger guy and being able to bump well, I've broken 7 rings during my match to where they were unusable after the show, like had to be taken and redone. Wood had to be ordered. Metal had to be welded. And I'm like, okay, this is a bad rep that I got going on. I've hurt 7 people. I've broken 7 rings. But it's one of those
You broke
situations.
7 hearts.
Oh yeah, dude. Shoot, I was I didn't say work with. I worked in a show that Jake the Snake Roberts was at, and a guy named Bone Crusher Bobby can back me up on this if you ever talk to him. So we're at the show, we're in the back, and Jake's talking about, doing a little color, doing a little extra action for the inside of the ring. Being we're on kayfabe side of it, I'll understand that everyone kind of knows what that means. So someone comes in and goes, here you go, Jake, we can use this for tonight. Jake's like, okay. He's looking at it, kind of looks over at this. One of the promoters' buddies, I think his name was like Neil or John or something like that, was sitting there. And he walks up to the guy and goes, hang on, and he hits him right across the face and walks away. He goes, that works great. And he goes, ha. He goes, what the, Jake, what'd you do? What the? So we had to get him a tourniquet and everything because Jake just walked over and gigged this dude just to make sure that it would be okay for him to utilize in the ring. And I'm like, aha, I'm glad I wasn't sitting that close to Jake. I'm glad I'm about, 8 people away.
Yeah, wrong guy, wrong time.
Oh yeah, Jake just walked over and goes, hey man, how's it? And I'm like, what the heck is going on, man? So, I thought that was a very interesting, everyone's got their own other Jake the Snake, unfortunately drug-related stuff. But mine was, he was sober, just having fun,
Wait, that was him sober too?
Yeah. Oh, that was, I guess before he went down that, because when I heard him talking about it it's probably like 3 or 4 years before it actually became a real big noticeable issue to him having all those issues, was when I had kind of seen him and hung out with him, I guess, or not really hung out, but just saw him and was there in his general vicinity.
So how much of injuries have you had though in the ring?
In the actual ring, like severe injuries to put me out, severe injuries that.
This isn't like you rattled off all the injuries you gave. What's some of the injuries you've received?
I've had staples. I've had staples in the head. I got hit in the head with a chair by Eddie Torres, a little uniquely. And I'm not saying that he did anything wrong. He didn't, and I didn't do it. We were literally about a step and a half too far away from each other. So when he swung the chair hit me right in the top of the head, but that curved part somehow hit me in the back of the head. And when he hit me in the back of the head, it had 5 staples, I think, I had to get put in right in the back of my head here. Straight line, it happened. I think I still had the chair up until about a year ago. It's like one of those things I kind of held around. I've had, I've had the 15 staples from a baseball bat to the top of the head right here in the front. That happened at that church show that we did out there in Largo, Poppy's organization.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing those photos. Yeah,
that was all. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's so unsafe." And I was like, "No, when we were in the back, because I had called that spot with a chair. I was like, oh, if you get a chair, I want you to hit me in the gut, you to hit me in the back. 3rd shot, I'll be turning right towards Fly. Fly can hit me right in the head with the chair." And I told him, I said, don't be a bitch about your chair shot, dude. Make sure you hit me. I'm not putting my hands up. It's a chair. I'll fucking take it. No problem. He said, okay, no problem. Great. So we talked about it. We're going, okay, good. And I get in, and the first take I get hit in the stomach, and I'm going, where's the chair at? What the? I get hit in the back, and I go, Jesus Christ, that hurt. And I turn around, and I see they're throwing a baseball bat. And I'm like, what the fuck? And that's all I got out. And I got doinked right in the head. Blink! And he just caught me so perfectly flush that it split from where my finger is to up here where my pinky is. 15 staples right straight down the front of my skull. Sorry about that. Ironically, he ended up driving me to the ER because with taking a hit in the head with a baseball bat, I couldn't exactly drive myself. But I mean, as far as that, I mean, I did separate my shoulder. They call it a chromium clavicular ligament rupture type 3, which is basically the 3 main ligaments that hold your collarbone to your shoulder itself right here in this general vicinity. I ruptured all 3 of them, and my collarbone shot up and was not poking through the skin, but it was really high. And I had to go to the ER for that one. That was down in Arcadia, I think it was. I think it was an FIP show that Dusty Rose was actually at. And I was really, really more so upset that I couldn't finish the show and see Dusty Rose wrestle because I had to go to the ER, But Dusty put he went out, which he didn't have to. He came out and he put his head in that ambulance. And I'm sitting there, tears coming down my face. I was upset, not happy, first 2.5 years of my career, I'm in an ambulance going on. I'm like, this is perfect, And he in the Dusty Rose twang, which I screw it up every time. He goes, listen here, son, everything is gonna be okay. You go, you heal, you do your rehab, everything will be fine. You come back and you kick some ass, all right? You go, boy. You go have fun, get healed up, all right? And I was like, Dusty Rose is dead. Dusty Rose is dead, and I'm going. And I was like, all right, let's go. And I did. I mean, I came back. I was supposed to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, and I got medically cleared in 4 weeks, and I made it. The next show was right in a month, and I was able to go to that show, and FIP called me and said, no, we're good. I think we're okay. And that's where I ended up getting fired. After that show where I broke my shoulder, they ended up kind of going, well, we're good. We're okay. Just go ahead and stay home. And I'm like, you really? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? For real? So it was heartbreaking at the same time,
Oh man. Well, speaking of heartbreaking, what about putting people through a flaming table?
What about it? He deserved it.
He probably did. You're about to put Gary through the table, as well as you get set on fire a little bit here as well. Any trepidation when you go into a segment like this at all, or is it just balls to the wall for all these fans?
Oh man, dude, you gotta roll that back, dude. You can see my arm physically on fire.
That's what I said. You get it as well.
Yeah, I caught my hand on fire. I remember catching my hand on fire. Man, was there what? Repeat the question. I'm sorry. I'm being more amazed at the video again. Say the question again, Jordan.
Oh, this is just what are the thoughts when you go into a something like that? Just you lighting the table on fire? Is there any trepidation? Or is it just balls to the wall? Let's entertain these fans. Like
it's at that point. First off, you don't want to go through it. That's the big one. You go, bro, I really don't want to go through the damn table. So let's So he came to me. We talked about it. We had tried some stuff out. I mean, that table right there getting caught on fire was probably the 5th or 6th time that we had tried something to make sure that it wasn't going to be, again, something that was going to be bad towards, because at that time it was for the fair, and they were really, really stingent on safety. We had 3 firemen that were there. 2 of them have fire extinguishers. Another guy had the big old fire blanket. So, I mean, they were really trepidatious, or not really trepidatious, but I mean, they really wanted to make sure that we were going to be safe. So me and Thunder had talked about it, discussed it. At first, I was going to go through it, and I said, well, if that's what we got to do, that's fine, And we kind of literally both went out there under the understanding that either one of us were going to go. We'd let it feel out in the rain. see how the crowd was, see how the people were, see who they wanted, see how they wanted it to go. When I lit that bad boy on fire, I was like, man, that's freaking hot. And I knew that I was lighting it, and I kind of went over, and it was like a quick little. He gave me the Iggy that he wanted to, and I was like, okay, let's go. You ready? And he's like, yep. And we went for it. Well, I didn't realize that as I was squirting all that stupid fluid on that table before I lit it the first time, that my wrist load of tape, because I had taped my wrists to like right here on both of my arms. So I was like, if there's gonna be fire, I'm not gonna burn myself. Well, when I did that, it oversprayed onto that stupid tape. So when I put my hand on the table to put him through the table, knowing that he was going to make it safely, my arm caught fire. So here I go. I put my hand on the table. I got him in the air, and I'm going, ow! So if you kind of watch it, you see me pick him up and then kind of drop him quick, because at that point, my arm is engulfed. So I'm throwing him through the table trying to win the dang match and not realizing that I've just set my own self on fire. So I'm coming up going, ah! The ref sees me on fire, puts me in, and boom, I'm it. I lost the match because I caught myself on fire.
Yeah, I was the ring announcer. I didn't know who won. I was looking at Albert going, who won this? They're both on fire.
Albert saw me first.
Yeah.
Over him. But I mean, even when that situation happened and he went through the table, which they don't show him, but I'm on fire and I'm walking towards, you can kind of see it in the video a little bit, I'm walking towards the corner, which had a guy with the fire extinguisher stuff. So he's going out to try, and I figured, all right, I'll go over him, get my arm put out so that way I'm not, I see the guy running down the ring towards Gary, and I'm like, dude, what the? So Aaron comes down the ringside because he was in the far corner and tackles me and starts putting me out with a towel that he had wiped his face off because he just wrestled the match before me. So he beat me out, and I'm going, what the? So I didn't realize that when Gary went through the table, Gary Thunder went through the table, when he rolled off, his shirt had hit some of the fluid, because apparently I put so much fluid that when he rolled off, his shirt was on fire. So the fire department went and put him out. I didn't know it. So I'm there going, what the? So that was, I'm like, all right, so let's not do that.
Say that again. You were like, what? I just want to hear it again.
No, thanks. I appreciate that. You make sure you record that for later on.
Yeah.
George said this in an earlier interview. So it was interesting, but I mean, it was, when you go into something like that, any hardcore match, you got to understand that you have stuff that you've talked about safely being able to do, but shit happens. You plan on using let's say like a popcorn maker, and all of a sudden the guy actually makes popcorn in a popcorn maker and he's selling popcorn to the crowd. Okay, what in the world's going on? Oh, is this where I get my nose broken?
It might be. I know this gets hardcore later on.
Yes. Towards the end of this match, OPP slings a chair right at my face and hits me and breaks my nose in 2 places. Yeah, I don't know how long you got it there for.
Oh, we see a chair now.
I think I'm missing with this one.
Is that it?
Yep.
I see you looking at your nose already.
Yeah. My nose was broken, and when I was laying there, blood was dripping in the back of my throat. Yeah, I did. When he swung that chair at me, he hit me right dead smack in the face and broke my nose.
Oh, I'm glad I had a video of it then, so we can talk about another injury.
Yeah, look at my stomach. I feel like I'm about to have a kid. So terrible.
Baby's gonna be a soccer player. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Oh yeah, that one hurt.
So we're talking about injury. You mentioned before about your ankle, and you mentioned before also too about some maybe different future endeavors into wrestling. So what is the plan when the ankle's healed up? Are we coming back to wrestling? Are we doing something else? What do we do? What are we doing, buddy? Talk about the future of the fire breathing monster torture.
That is a very, very good question, Jo.
Thank
Um,
you.
literally at this point, I have about probably like 3 or 4 different roads to go down. One is to become an active wrestler again, okay? But we're still for the active wrestler portion of my life to continue. I have 3 more weeks before I have a second surgery, and probably about a month of rehab, or no, excuse me, a month in a cast again, and then rehab after. So I'm looking to become an active wrestler in the ring again. I'm looking at probably safely, probably about 4 months, to be an active wrestler. Now, if I take a different way, I can be active in wrestling as far as a what do they call it? A manager, an
The ring
agent.
girl, where you hold up the
No, I'm not going to be a ring girl. The people
valet.
tipping me to put more clothes back on so fast. An agent. Um, Knockout Pro Wrestling has actually offered an agent position to help with um, behind the scenes stuff with wrestlers, getting refs on the same page, making sure that music people hit in the right spots, help the flow of the show overall. And I have a feeling that that is going to be something I'll be doing because they have their first show May 15th ish is right now the tentative plan. Uh, and if that happens, like I'm not back for active wrestling yet. I am the current Armed Forces Heavyweight Champion at Knockout Pro Wrestling. It sounds like I'm going to have to relinquish my title just because I'm not. I don't want to do anything stupid and mess up worse. So I think what I'm going to do is probably have to relinquish my title, take that position temporarily, see how I heal up, see how everything, see what the doctors say before I decide on whether I'm becoming reactive 100% in the wrestling world or just kind of hang out and do a little bit more behind the scenes action, announcing, voiceover work. What's a ring announcer? Not the ring announcer, but the color commentating.
Commentary, yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of people are very interested in throwing me in that position more so. And you know what? If the money's there, because I mean, a lot of people kind of pay but don't pay. I mean, obviously from, I
You
mean,
gotta tell
some,
me.
yeah, I mean, but with and nothing. I mean, I don't want to say any kind of disrespect or anything about, I'm just being honest here, okay? Is that, coming from the wrestling world, going into a commentator's position, I'm probably still going to get paid something. It's not going to be anything close to what an active wrestler was, but I'm still going to get paid something. And, you know, to me, it's more so for the fun, more so for the enjoyment. Yes, it's a great thing when you get your gas paid for, a little bit of a snack afterwards, something like that. But it it's it's a unique road. When I'll get to the fork in that road, um, when the doctors give me the okay as to whether I'm going to continue to stay in the commentator world or if I'm going to go back to active wrestling. Um, at 40 years old, I just turned 40 March 6th. Um, it's there's nothing else that I really have to prove in this business. And a lot of people are like, well, you can do it for the love of the business. I agree. I can do it for the love of this business. But you know what? Loving this business and being in front of in front of people when that guy that's been doing this for 18 plus years is taking a spot of a young and up and coming kid. It's taking the spot of a guy that's coming out of the wrestling training facility. he's not getting his shot. He's not getting his possibility because an old timer, and I don't mean this in a bad aspect to anyone that's looking to retire or looking at anything, but it's a cutthroat type world, and I'd rather step to the side, still be active as an agent, still be active as a commentator, still be active as a ring announcer, and give those younger guys that are coming out of the school, those younger guys that are fighting for that to get on the card to even be seen, their shot to possibly make it, because they need it. They need it otherwise. So I mean, I'll gladly be an agent for their match to make sure it goes off without a hitch, versus fighting for my spot when my spot is great and good and can draw people, but in the same aspect is I'm not going to be there in 5-6 years. I'm not going to be there in 7-8 years. These guys will be. These guys are going to be there for a thing. Those are the future of floor wrestling. So they need to have their opportunity.
Well, absolutely, man. But as just someone that's known you now for the past decade, I definitely think agent, commentary. I think you'd be great at both, man. I think definitely, as long as you're in the business, which it sounds like you're definitely going to be one way or the other, that's a great thing. Fun seeing you in the ring as well here. Anything else you want to say? Any other plugs? Companies that you currently are working for? Anything else you want to mention here?
No, hey man. I mean, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule and busy everything to talk to me. I mean, it gave me something to cut loose on for 2 hours or an hour.
Yeah, man. No, this is great.
No, it's phenomenal. I mean, there's nothing really to plug. I mean, if you guys want some completely sugar-free treats, there's a place that's in Mount Dora called Crave Bakehouse. They're on Facebook. They 100% sugar-free donuts and baked items that are absolutely delicious. But even myself being a diabetic, Knockout Pro Wrestling, they're working up in the Eustis area. I'm still working with them. Like I said, I'll probably be taking a little bit more of a behind-the-scenes type situation. There's a couple organizations that we cannot discuss on this particular part because they haven't made stuff official. But yes, there are some stuff locally that I'll probably be getting into, more so on the commentating portion of it, but still.
Maybe something me and you could collab on.
I mean, wait a minute. Let me think about it, J.O. style.
Hey. Trademark. I've been doing that pose since middle school. I've been trademarking it, man. People know me only by that sometimes.
The middle school thing, I saw some old photos of like some sort of like you were a stage performer in middle school, high school.
In high school, yeah, I did everything. Yeah, drama, TV productions.
They have a photo of you, and in the background you see little Jordan's face and I'm like, this dude's been going that far back, and it's amazing.
I knew then about branding. I knew all about branding back in middle school. I don't know. I think honestly, I don't tell everyone this. I think I stole it from Simon Diamond. I don't know, but
I can see that because I was actually watching some old ECW TV stuff, and Simon Diamond and his tag team partner, which I can't remember the names. He was that.
Swinger.
Yes, and Diamond because he used to come to the ring and used to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I liked it for some reason, and I've been doing it since 2000 or so.
That's awesome.
Keeping it going for another 2 decades. Now, randomly, sometimes people will be like, "Oh, yeah, you're the dude, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." People only remember that. Wait, what's your stake in this sugar-free cookie place? By the way, that was random.
Oh, well, it's literally. I mean, I have no stake in that particular company, but it was through Knockout Pro Wrestling. We had gone and done like a radio broadcast or something like that, like a radio podcast or radio something there. And we were in front of it, and this lady comes out and she goes, "Did you try the donuts?" I go, "Yeah, man, those are some awesome donuts. Are you selling here?" She goes, "Yeah, they're right in the back." And it's a little company that has about 8 or 9 small businesses that are all in this one larger area. So you go in and they got little tapatillas and little smoothie plates and a bakery that does like carrot cheesecake muffins and and I'm going, wow, man, this is some awesome stuff. She goes, yeah, well, this is Crave Bakehouse. This is who does those donuts, and they're all 100% sugar free. And I went, no, they're not. She goes, yeah, they are. I said, no, that's bullshit. I said, what I just had out there had sugar in it. She goes, no, they didn't. And I go, no, and I told her what I had. She goes, wait a minute. And she cut one out right there out of the shelf and said, here. And I go, yeah, it's the same thing. She goes, yeah, it's 100% gluten, sugar free. And I was like, what? And it was, I mean, a donut, yay big, delicious chocolate. I mean, oh my God, it's so good. And I was like, you make these donuts? She goes, oh yeah, they're all 100% sugar free, gluten free, and we deliver. And I go, yeah, but I live in St. Pete. She goes, oh no, we get it out there once a week. And I go, what? I go, you deliver to St. Pete? She goes, oh yeah, we deliver out that way. And it's not the most economical donut, but it's fucking worth it, dude. It is so good. It's like to be a diabetic, to go, hey, let me have a donut, and literally have no issues with checking my sugar, no issues with anything whatsoever. It's so good, so good. But yeah, I don't have a stake in the company. It's just they're that effing good to where if I had to plug something, that's who I plug.
I just liked it. It was a very unique, different answer than what we're used to here. It's just this is a really good donut place. Crazy. Well, guys, you heard it here. If you're looking for a good donut, check them out. Knockout Pro Wrestling, when all this crazy stuff is over, check them out, as well as some other companies maybe we'll hear about soon. Torture, thank you so much, my man. It's always a pleasure talking to you. You're definitely one of the first top of the list that I wanted to have here on here.
Well, thank you, J.O., dude. I really appreciate it. Kayfabe Corner, check it out. If you guys have a little listening pleasure, a little TV action, you know, when you're doing here in the self-quarantine area, check it out. It's all worth it, guys. Thank you so much, Jordan, for having me, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for everyone checking this out. Guys, have a great night. Torture, have a great night. Thank you. Bye-bye.